Hey, 1 2 1 2. Hey, these liability shields are a real big deal. We got a big vote coming up, and I thought, hey, while I'm calling, why not make it show people how easy it is? Monkey see, monkey do can be helpful sometimes. So I'm making some calls, guys. It's super easy. You can leave a bunch of voicemails if you get a hold of somebody. Why not? So we're calling Senator Jake of Texas right now. Hello, hello. 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Hello. Hey, this is Jonathan Giles. I'm here to leave a message about my concern for Section 453 of this pesticide liability. This is a suspension of the rule of law when it matters most. This is a giveaway to these big international profiteers like ChemChina and Bayer's Monsanto, the Germans. If we want to put Americans first, we need to stand up to this sort of legislation. I'm a big fan of the idea of government being just big enough to protect us one from the other, and this liability shield would be a license to kill and a huge failure at protecting us from those who are harming us most. So I hope you guys are voting against it, and I appreciate that very much. I sure do. All right. Just that easy, folks. I know it's easier for me if I see somebody doing something, then I can, say, oh, yeah, I could do that. And so, yeah, we got a big vote coming up tomorrow, but they really do tally these calls and see who is calling in, get the pulse of the people. So,
Congressman Tom Cole's office. How can I help you?
hey, Tom, I'm calling to voice my concern for what's going on with this pesticide liability shield. We got a big vote coming up tomorrow about it. It's really a license to kill for these international corporateers. We got ChemChina and Bears Monsanto pushing for this. And, I'm a big fan of the libertarian ideal that, government should be big enough just to protect us one from the other. And this would be a huge failure at that. So, their justification is that we need these kind of poisons to grow our food, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It's never been easier with technology and know-how, and no other countries using the poison we're using, and we're so much sicker for it. And besides just pesticides, this is actually going to be covering every chemical under FIFRA. So that's like 57,000 products. So it would be like an end to our due process, our constitutional right to hold companies to account when we're poisoned this way. And yeah, like I said, we got dozens of diseases going parabolic. This would be a real step in the wrong direction. So I hope our I hope Tom's on our side about this. Do you have an idea which way he's leaning?
Well, I don't have a statement from him on which way that's going to go tomorrow. What I will say is the bill doesn't give direct liability shield. You can make the argument that maybe it makes it more difficult for a plaintiff, but it isn't a direct liability shield. But I do understand the concern about
So,
that.
so as I understand it, maybe I'm wrong.
About this and
Yeah.
passing it
So
along.
as I understand it, that they're using in the Supreme Court right now, that you follow what the EPA says that they should label something with. They say, well, hey, how can we be held at harm for causing cancers? EPA, we captured that organization, and they told us not to
Right.
do any warning. Meanwhile, the EPA
Sure.
is citing studies that we know were compromised in the courtroom from 12 years ago. The Monsanto papers, we got a hold of their internal memos and their emails in the courtroom that showed that they fabricated the science. It was 5 different studies that were fabricated. Those studies should be retracted, but instead they're still cited by the EPA for why are allegedly safe. It's unbelievable. They're telling us that these chemicals don't cause cancer. Meanwhile, they're paying $11 billion for homeowners, just like you and I, for using Roundup in our gardens. Like if we're getting
Mm-hmm.
non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, this is a form of cancer. So these guys are liars. Bayer Monsanto, they've been up to scandal after scandal after scandal. These are some of the worst entities on the face of the planet, maybe. And like I said, this is they're using these label requirements in the courtroom right now as a defense. As I
Mm-hmm.
understand it, this legislation they're voting on tomorrow is all about, you know, pulling funding for any studies or for anything that would allow the EPA to go ahead and change the warnings. So these things are already maybe 20, 30 years outdated, but it would
Mm-hmm.
kind of, while I agree, maybe it's not explicit a liability
Right.
shield, it's functionally.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I understand.
One last thing I'll just say, I'm a constituent, I'm a conservative. My values are, for the family. Kids are under a lot of pressure from endocrine. What we have going on right now is, gender dysphoria and all of this sort of nonsense. The way this is pushed, through the media and kind of the PC culture, I think this is as a cover. It's unbelievable. What we're doing to our kids. These, you know, absolutely affects testosterone. It absolutely affects. We're in fertility. We're a sick, broken, dying country, and we're being holocausted. And whether that's intentional or not, that's what's happening. No other country's as sick as we are. The disease is going parallel. Every So what's the difference? We're
Mm-hmm.
using all these poisons, and we should be doing a whole lot better. I hope Tom will consider legislation to limit some of our exposures. We can't flip a switch and outlaw them overnight. But you know what? Some low hanging fruit on this issue. We're spraying the likes of glyphosate and other toxic desiccants on our crops at harvest. Our grains and our beans specifically. So this is our oats, our legumes, our chickpeas, our hummus, our soy products, and this is up to 80% of our exposure. And no other country allows this, hardly, at least none in Europe that I'm aware of. And so yeah, we're letting these big profiteers write our legislation, and they've captured our agencies, and we really got to stand up to them. So I hope you'll
Mm-hmm.
pass those concerns along.
Yes, sir. I'd be happy to.
Can I get an email or something, or would it be possible minutes with Tom?
I could. Well, I don't know if I could get you with Tom, but what I could do is I could either or our environmental person or our scheduler, either one of those, and maybe we could set something up.
That'd
So
be great.
if that's what you'd like, I could do
That'd
that.
be great. Is that an email?
Let me find to someone who does our environmental policy work, or
Yeah,
setting up something with Tom.
that'd be great. I'd love to, who anybody who.
Okay, I have an email for.
Sure.
Okay,
I'm ready.
that's SOFIA
Uh huh.
dot EIRO,
Can you repeat that?
and that'll be at
Is that DERIO?
yes,
Uh huh.
and that'll be at mail.house.gov.
All right. Perfect. All right. I'll send her over a one pager on this.
Okay,
All right. Thanks for your time.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for calling in. That's your concern, sir.
You got it. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Appreciate it. Bye.
All right. All right. It's that easy. Yeah. I mean, it's green tea, and yeah, I know it's monkey see, monkey do. That's like the way of humanity, right? It's like when we see somebody do something, then that does make it a lot easier. We're like, oh, that is easy. But yeah, a lot of these conversations are very simple. I'm getting some people picking up the phone, which is nice, and trying to get some. Yeah, trying to guys. If you're out there listening, if you do this and you get somebody congressman to meet with you, you know what? Myself or another activist would love. So don't be shy about asking for that. Um, uh, I've got a one pager of notes that you can email them if you get their email, or also a pitch deck that we can trying to go. Uh, it's everything that goes along with the story. So, I was mentioning the Monsanto papers, right? We caught them lying. We caught them committing, fraud in their studies, and then they want to tell us their products don't cause cancer. Well, why did you have to fabricate studies? Why did you tell your scientists to lie for you, right? Um, they had a we caught them red-handed having an initiative where they were astroturfing the entire narrative with what was kind of dubbed trolls, an army of trolls, and their goal, every comment that was critical of Monsanto or GMOs or glyphosate. And so, why would you have to do that if your product's safe, right? Nobody's worried about that if their product's safe. So, they're really about, and yeah, $11 billion. Can you imagine that? 11 billion with a B, guys. $1 billion is so much money. It's hard to wrap your head around. Um, so it's like a pallet of $100 bills, like 8 feet tall, covering a football field. That's $1 billion. That's so 11 of those, 11 football fields of $100 bills like that is how much they've had just to people like you and me who are spraying this in our gardens. But we're using a pound per person every year. Our farmers are. It's in the food we're eating. So that $11 billion doesn't touch all of those damages. So yeah, it's insane. Um, it's in lockstep, the increased use of glyphosate with all these diseases, dozens of them going up parabolically since the mid 90s. And Europe doesn't have this. It's very clear. It's an environmental toxin that was introduced in the mid 90s that Europe doesn't have. How many are there? There's not many. There's not many, guys. And we understand why glyphosate is such a poison. To begin with, it's an antibiotic. Okay, it's registered as an antibiotic. A lot of people don't know that. So it kills the soil. It kills all the microbes. It's bad for our gut microbiome. It gives us digestive issues. It messes with our immunity. It's also chelator. That's part of how it works as an antibiotic. So it grabs the iron, it grabs the zinc, it grabs the manganese, which creates all sorts of pathologies, which makes us malnourished, and all sorts of chronic diseases are stemming this way. And there's 5,000 plus peer-reviewed studies about glyphosate's toxicity, and they describe exactly how these happen to us. So it's just it's really just unbelievable that this stuff is still being used at all. Or maybe I could see, maybe in just rare edge cases, sometimes somewhere we use this poison. But I mean, it's so bad. It's while you it's water soluble in the snow, and the Inuit are getting cancers, if you can believe that. So yeah, this is it's really bad. Green Tea says the frustrating part is these people know Monsanto Bear is crooked, and they know people are getting sick. We managed to grow food for thousands of years, and other countries also do it without glyphosate. Exactly. Yeah, the my audio's coming in and out. I know, I know. Here, bear with me here. I'm gonna if it goes again, I'm gonna give up. But let's try to do one more call. Let's see what happens here. Um, yeah, we're gonna be calling Senator Michael Cloud here. We got this already. Let's see. Yep, we're ready. Go for one more.
Thank you for calling the offices of Representative Michael Cloud, representing Texas 27. Your thoughts and opinions are very important to us. We are sorry that we have missed your call. We would appreciate you leaving a detailed message. Thank you so much for taking the time. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, this is Jonathan Giles. I'm calling about my concern with Section 453 that's being voted on tomorrow concerning these pesticide liability shields. They've been going state by state trying to get these, and they're using this as their defense in the Supreme Court right now to say that, you know, what else could they do? They put the warning label on there that the EPA told them to, and they're trying to get 67,000 lawsuits thrown out. And these are not frivolous lawsuits. These are lawsuits of people losing their lives to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And there's many other diseases that they're implicated for. This is really a suspension of the rule of law where it matters most. This is our constitutional rights to due process. I love the idea that government should be just big enough to hold to protect us one from the other. And this is a complete failure in this. This is a suspension of our defense when it comes to these profiteers who are harming us the most. So many kids nowadays are suffering from endocrine disruption. Most of us now these days, we're in a fertility crisis, and our men, we don't have the testosterone we should. Women don't have the estrogen we should. These poisons are really disrupting our hormones. And so this is a matter for, our fertility and our future, our legacy. It's for the future of civilization, right? We're well below replacement rate at 2.1 births right now. So this is not much of a legacy we're leaving our kids. And I hope you will stand up for us and put Americans first. The lobbyists who are pushing this is Bayer Monsanto.
There's 10 seconds of recording time left.
The Germans and ChemChina. So please stand with us, and we sure appreciate it. Yes. So those are the easy one, guys. If you don't want to talk to people, just call after 5 p.m. and just leave a little 40-second bit about whatever. Just say pesticide liability shields are no good if you want to. You don't have to get all into the weeds all about it, but if you want to, I think it's helpful for them to educate them, because a lot of people don't realize what's at stake right now. We don't realize that they're coming for our rights. A lot of congressmen don't realize exactly how it's working. They don't really realize that glyphosate causes cancer. There's such a bunch of nonsense. So there's all these studies that should 100% be retracted, and they're not. And they're pointed to, look, it's safe. It's not safe. It's not safe, guys. No other country. You look at Europe; they're using less than a tenth of the glyphosate we are. What's the other big herbicide? The other big herbicide is paraquat. Paraquat is banned in 50 plus countries, guys. It's banned in China even, okay? And China isn't known for human rights, and China is the one selling it to us, right? And and then they're lobbying our representatives to take away our right to stand up for ourselves when it comes to these poisons. So it's just it's so wild. All right, I'm getting some feedback. The calls are helpful. All right, let's go for one more here, and I'll try to see if I can try to say it a little differently for you guys who are watching. Get another one. So yeah, I will put this tweet to this list in the comments of where I'm streaming this. So just check back in a little bit, and this information of these senators' calls will be there. There's really a list of like 60 you can call, but I hate to say it, but the Democrats are on the right side of this issue because they're just more used to being on the side of the environment. And it seems like so many Republicans are on the wrong side of this one. But there's a shorter list that is kind of the ones who are kind of on the fence. And so if you call these numbers, these are the ones who are critical to give a call to. And so that's kind of why, especially
calling the office of Congressman Mike Simpson.
I'm giving
All of
the
our lines are currently busy.
conservative perspective,
Would like a response from the Congressman.
which
Please provide
kind of
your
easy
first
because I am
name,
a conservative.
your last name, your phone number, and your full mailing address, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hey, this is Jonathan Giles. I'm calling because I'm concerned about what's going on with this liability shield. This is in section 453. We are a sick, broken, dying country. We are being taken out. And this is a shield not just for pesticides, which are a main culprit in our health deficits, but this is actually for 57,000 products that FIFA covers. So anything that has a label that's controlled by FIFA, they're going to be off the hook for any lawsuits because they're going to say, well, listen, that label was approved, whatever. And so this is a defense that Bayer Monsanto is using right now to stand up to a lot of lawsuits for homeowners who have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma from spraying Roundup at home. And so this is really just ceding our constitutional rights to international serial criminal profiteers. Bayer Monsanto and ChemChina, these guys are just up to scandal after scandal. And, we've got to put Americans first. We have to, or we at least have to have some standing. Constitutionally, this is against our right to due process. It's also against our right to equal standing under the law. So this is putting these international imperialists superior to us in standing, so that we can't stand up to them, and we can't there's a lot of disinformation about glyphosate. We caught them in the Monsanto papers fabricating science. They wouldn't have to fabricate science if their products were safe. And you can look that up. Look up the Monsanto papers. Weisner-Baum, the legal team, they did a great job kind of outlining exactly what happened.
There's 10 seconds of recording time left.
And so I appreciate you standing up for Americans on this. Thank you. Yes, this should be a nonpartisan issue. 100%, brother. Anybody on the wrong side of this is just like, listen, you are literally with the bioweapon terrorists. You're with the bad guys. And gosh, there's a lot of people on the wrong side of the issues. A lot of the time, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I think a lot of people are really believing that these products are safe, and they want to. And I want to believe that. It's just not true. It's just not true. You look at why we're so sick. It's because of these products. And both sides say they're for the people when running for election. Right. Exactly. Man, here. What is Twisted says they say they're on the right side of it till it comes down, then they all sit on their hands. It's I'm not a huge fan of Cory Booker. Okay, there's a lot of things I don't like about him. It seems like he's just obsessed with Donald Trump when he's got a job to do. But he did recently come out with an amendment trying to codify the idea that we have a right to stand up to those who are harming us. Especially these bad guys. So props to Cory Booker there. I hope he finds some healing. He seems like he has a lot of trauma from Donald Trump existing. But thank you, Cory, for standing up for us that way. That's nice of you. And Donald Trump, I remember about 2 years ago, you had a nice video where you talked about standing up for us concerning these issues. What is causing all of these chronic diseases? Well, it's these injections, that's part of it, that go untested, and it's these pesticides that we actually have a wealth of knowledge. If it's banned in dozens of countries, let's ban it here. How can we be the greatest country when all these other countries, food is much safer, their air is much safer, their water is much safer? How can we be the greatest country when our health is the worst? We are a sick, broken, dying country, and we have to change that. So thank you for everybody who's a part of that. And let's keep on keeping on. Thank you.